I don't think that Ryland Grace is necessarily cowardly or selfish, and I think this is an interesting thing about Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Grace doesn't want to die for humanity, and I don't necessarily think that that means he doesn't care about whether humanity lives or dies. I think that the deeper question is whether being able to save a large group of people gives them ownership over your life. There is an enormous difference between not wanting to sacrifice yourself and not wanting to care about other people. Grace cares about other people, he just doesn't think that the capability of saving millions justifies the end of his life. We think of heroism retrospectively. Once someone is willingly given up their life, we call it noble or heroic or courageous, but we rarely ask the question of whether they would have been obligated to make that sacrifice. Grace's resistance to the mission is in part a resistance to that obligation. He doesn't want his life reduced to its amount of usefulness to humanity. And paradoxically, that's what makes his eventual sacrifice so meaningful. Because Grace's transformation doesn't happen as a result of learning that he should have valued his life less. He becomes heroic when he's finally given something he values enough to throw his life away. That something is Rocky. And the friendship between Grace and Rocky is where Project Hail Mary becomes more philosophically interesting than the conventional survival narrative. I think that we're accustomed to treating romantic and familial relationships as being one of the highest form of attachments. And in doing that, we prescribe a lot of fulfillment and meaning in our lives to those specific relationships. We understand someone dying for their child or for their lover or for their parents. But I feel like friendship is somehow treated as less than, or like it doesn't live up to the moral obligation of those other relationships. And I think that Project Hail Mary challenges that hierarchy. And I feel like in part the thing that makes Grace as a character so interesting, because he begins this journey by asking the question, why should I die for people I don't know? And instead of answering that question, the story sends him someone he's willing to die for, but it is someone that he knows. It's Rocky. He's willing to give his life for someone he loves. Grace doesn't go from selfish to selfless because he learns that he owes people his life. He goes from I don't owe you my life to I choose to give my life to you. And I think that that's the difference between obligation and love and the real point that Project Hail Mary is trying to make.